Well, good morning to you. I wonder whether this morning you're frustrated with the present leadership of our own nation. Maybe not only of our own nation, but of all the nations of the world. Maybe you are confused about what they are doing and why. Or possibly you're asking the bigger and more important question. God, what are you up to? What is your plan here? What is the end game of this worldwide situation? You know, it's not wrong to ask God what he is doing and why. We may not get the answers we want, but we will get the answers we need. But what is the answer that we need? In the book of Habakkuk, the prophet is expressing his confusion to God about the ways in which God is dealing both with his own people and with the world situation. God's people Judah are falling apart morally and spiritually. And Habakkuk has been praying his heart out. He's been preaching as earnestly as he could. And yet their hearts remain unchanged. Worse still, the Babylonians now seem to be approaching. A wicked nation that is anti-God and hates the people of God is advancing upon Judah. And as Habakkuk looks on, he wonders what on earth God is doing. Why is he not answering my prayer? Why is he not drawing his own people back to himself? Why is he allowing the wicked Babylonians to be a danger to his people? Habakkuk's questions remind God of his character, and they ask with a certain incredulity, how can it be that God can allow such a situation? And so he asks in chapter 1 verses 12 and 13, are you not from everlasting, O Lord my God, my Holy One? We shall not die. O Lord, you have ordained them as a judgment, and you, O Rock, have established them for reproof. You who are of purer eyes than to see evil and cannot look at wrong, why do you idly look at traitors and remain silent when the wicked swallows up the man more righteous than he? And he says in chapter 2 verse 1 to God, God, I'm going to keep looking for an answer to this question for as long as it takes. I'm prepared to wait like a watchman on the wall. In chapter 2 verses 3 and 4, God graciously answers him, but not in the way the prophet may have hoped. He says to Habakkuk in chapter 2, he says two things. He says, number one, chapter 2 verse 3, he says, Habakkuk, you're going to have to wait. I will deal with the world and with my people justly, but I will do it in my time. And then secondly, he says in chapter 2 verse 4, he says, Habakkuk, as a righteous man, you need to live by faith. I'm not going to explain the providence by which I work, but you can trust me, and you must trust me, whether I answer you or not. God would give us the same answer today. We do not know why he allows what he does, or why he is working in the world as he is. We may never know in our lifetime, but we can trust him. We must trust him. When we ask the why do you do this question, God often responds with a this is who I am and this is how you are to live answer. It may be not what we want, but it is what we need. Our work is to simply carry on with the work of God, trusting that he knows best and that he will always be consistent with his own character. He will work out the history of the world for his own glory and the redemption of his own people. Whether confused or not by the current situation in our world, or why the leaders act the way they do, or why God is doing what he is doing, we need to remember this. The righteous must live by faith in the only one who is truly just, holy, and trustworthy. Only then can we respond to life with the joy of Habakkuk. As he closes his book, he grasps this and he says, "Though the fig tree should not blossom, nor the fruit be on the vines, the produce of the olives fail, and the fields yield no food, the flock be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will take joy in the God of my salvation. God, the Lord, is my strength." You see, faith leads us to joy, whether our situation improves or not, whether we receive answers to our why questions or not. When we trust in the Lord, then we find joy in God. And so today we trust and obey. For there's no other way to be happy in Jesus than to trust and obey.